Are we rolling? Oh, then I guess we better start. Good evening. Welcome to class 8 of Science of Mind 101. We're actually technically on class 6. In the workbook, we elaborated on some material that went over a couple of weeks. We always begin with spiritual mind treatment, so take a deep breath and let it go. Take another deep breath. And as you let go of any concerns or tensions or anything you may have brought into the room with you that you no longer need. Just let it go. And then continue to breathe in and breathe out. As we know that there is a power and a presence in the universe that is in, through, and as all things. It is beyond the concept of thing. It is light and love. It is joy and peace, health, prosperity, wholeness. It is the absolute, infinite, creative force beyond all things. And I know that that infinite presence of spirit is us, as us, is us now. I know that it is what I am, and I am what it is. And so I speak my word now as the word of God, calling forth into form for all of us the divine life that we are meant to live. I know for us prosperity. I know for us health. I know for us joy. I know for us success. And I know for us love. I know that we were created out of these, that is what we are. It is the truth of us. And we align ourselves in consciousness with those eternal truths of our being and watch them manifest into our lives. And with great gratitude and thanksgiving for this teaching of Science of Mind, for this center, and for everyone who has chosen to evolve in consciousness and to create the life of their dreams, I simply release this treatment into all that God is, all that Spirit is, because I know that Spirit is all, and together we say, and so it is. So are you picking out our 5 steps?
Say that again?
Are you picking out the 5 steps of treatment?
Yeah.
I'm being very careful on these
of your
treatments.
treatment?
Yeah,
Okay.
to do it in a very structured 5-step treatment, so that you get to where you go, oh, I know that step. I know that step. What kind of treatment demonstrations do you have this week? Lynn?
Well, it's a demonstration, it wasn't specific, but, frequent flower miles, under 50,000 of them out of thin air.
Yay! Yay! We can go places with that.
Yeah.
Good for you. Who else? Now think about it. You had someone treating for you all week. You've been treating for yourself all week. Nothing has manifested for anyone? The windows of heaven have closed on you? Come on.
I just don't take remember things.
That's why I want you to start thinking about them and sharing them, because you don't remember them. Human nature is, oh, something's wrong, that's all I'm going to focus on. And then when something went right, it's like, oh, I'll forget that in 3 seconds. So I want you to remember them during the week, and I want you to come to class ready to share them.
I forget both.
Well, affirm that. Affirm that I now remember all of the wonderful demonstrations in my life. Okay. All right. We don't have to celebrate your wins. I know. We've been talking about this 3 weeks in a row now. Okay, well, I had a wonderful dinner Friday night.
Oh,
And we've been treating that. Yes, Breezy.
got a lot accomplished last week.
And did you treat for that? Did
Yes.
your partner treat for that?
For procrastination.
Or to not have
That's
procrastination. You don't want to treat for
Yes.
procrastination. So you got a lot accomplished. Good, good. We had one of the smoothest and easiest dinners that we've ever had. You know, John was actually in the hot tub before the dinner. That's like a milestone. Can we do that? We were out of here by 10:30. which for the dinner night, we're usually here until after midnight, so that worked out very, very well. And we treated that, because it's important to us to have a wonderful dinner where everyone can come together and where everything works. A year ago, we ran out of prime rib. 2 years ago, we ran out of salad. This year, we didn't run out of anything. It was great. And we had about 30 more people than we usually have. So it all worked out really well. That's my demonstration. And then also, we treated the workday Saturday, and people came and everything got done, and it was great. I tell you, treat everything that you're doing. Treat it. I have someone who cleans my house who treats everything they clean. I walk in there and I know this mirror only reveals the beauty and the joy. And what are you doing? I'm treating the mirror. I treat everything. I treat the bed, I treat the linens, I treat the laundry, I treat the floors, I treat everything in this house. I don't care if the dirt's gone, I get the treatment put in. Treat everything in your life. That's what we're learning to do here. Hi, Shauna. And Lee, I'm going to give you this cheat sheet on spiritual mind treatment, just so that you won't be lost later on in the class. And you're going to come back into the camera. So, tonight's class is about the power of thought, which I love. By the way, did you hear that we have our first Spanish book on the website? Creative Mind, Ernest's first book that he ever wrote. He wrote it in 1916. It's in public domain, and we have had it translated and edited, and it is up on the website. I have sent it out to the Latin Science of Mind community to say, give it away to everybody that you know. Just give it away. Liv.
I have a divine idea.
Do you?
I'm going to Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll be happy to put out whatever you want me to while I'm there, as long as you can get me something to share.
It's on the website. It's all electronic.
I know, but I need like a little blurb to hand out. I'm gonna hand them out to people in Mexico.
Person.
Great. It would just be our website, www.cslasheville.org, and it's on the homepage. Mente Creativa, Creative Mind. I'm just very proud of that. And I'm very proud that we're establishing structure to allow us to have a lot happen. You know, the first one, you kind of learn your way along, and that when it's a win, when it works, that opens up the door to have more and more come through. So I'm excited about that. We're actively working on having our Sunday talks translated so that you can go to our website. We had a meeting with Devon yesterday. What is she now? Not the webmaster, she is the web manager or something like that. But you can you can set it up through Google that you can click a button and it'll have a drop down of over 300 languages. And you can pick a language and the website will immediately translate everything on it into that language. So it's not just do it. We were saying, well, we'll translate everything to Spanish. And she said, oh no, I'm so far beyond that. You want to do it in Mandarin, you want to, and the #1 country that was on our website last month was Bulgaria. Bulgaria, and then China, and then India. And we have anywhere between 12 and 16,000 visitors a month on our website. Opening over 50,000 pages on our website, and watching between 40 and 50,000 minutes on our YouTube channel. It's just taking off. It's just amazing, and I'm so proud of it. I'm just really proud of it. So the power of thought, that's what I'm all about. That's what led me into the whole Spanish thing, because there are a lot of people who don't understand that which you focus upon and dwell upon, you will create in your experience. They think that they can just look at everything that's going wrong, that they don't like, that's hard, and obsess over that, and that somehow, something magical will happen and they don't ever have to deal with that anymore. That's not the way it works. The way that it works is that what we think about, we create. We create it through our thoughts, our words, our actions, and our deeds. And the basic fundamental principle of all of that is oneness. The fact that we are connected to everything, the fact that there is some kind of a creative power. going on, an infinite mind, some kind of infinite intelligence that surrounds us, and that it is affected by what we think. And so when we think about something and we demonstrate it, that's why I want you to bring your demonstrations to class, so that when you treat for something, when you focus your intention, when you think about it and you demonstrate it, you go, oh, something happened. I don't know what it is, but something happened. And as we get more and more comfortable with this idea that, you know, don't focus on that, don't talk about that, don't look at that, don't immerse yourself in that, look at what you want to experience and make that real and watch how that shows up in your life. As you get used to that, you become more and more aware that there is something going on. I don't know how any sane person could not get that there is something going on. We are not simply products of a cosmic or biological accident that have no power in their lives, and everything is random, and there is no higher meaning or reason for existence. That's not true. The truth is that there is a oneness going on. It is intelligent, it is powerful, it is creative. And since that is the only thing that's going on, and there can't be anything outside of it, then everything and everyone must be an individualization of that oneness, a manifestation of the divine in physical form as us. Since we are a point, not a part, but a point of the infinite, then we're connected infinitely. And we are connected not only to each other, but we're connected to our experiences, we're connected to this idea of a universal mind or a spiritual law, whatever you want to call it, but there is something there. And as you start to get that there is something there and that you can use it, you can start consciously creating the experiences of your life. And this chapter talks a lot about physical healings. So when we look at focusing on a physical experience that seems to have demonstrated in less than perfect, whole, and complete, we can know that there is no reality to that, that there is a health and wholeness that transcends and supersedes any and all condition. And when we focus on that, it pops back into form. You know, you got to work on yourself to make yourself sick. You've got to hold on to a lot of negativity and victimization and anger and upset, and keep packing that in your physical body that something's wrong, something's wrong, something's wrong. And our bodies love us so much that they'll go, oh, you want something to be wrong? Here, how about this? And then we get some kind of a diagnosis or some kind of a disease, but the health and wholeness has never gone away. That's the key. The health and wholeness has never gone away, so that when you are presented with someone that is experiencing some kind of a dis-ease and you're treating for them, you don't have to go find it. You don't have to change the liver functions or the way that the lymph system works or the immune system or something like that. It's already there. There is a wisdom and an intelligence in the body that is health itself. We can cover it up with a cloak of negativity and limitation, but we can't stop it. Has anybody had any kind of a physical healing in this class?
Physical.
Yeah. Anybody ever go to a practitioner and you had something going on and the practitioner treated it and it went away? Yeah. Why is that?
Because I know it's going to work.
Because you know it's going to work, and because it was there all along.
Yeah.
For me, that's the heartening part, that I don't have to go out and find the health. And I had a lot of people, I have a minister in this movement who said, I forgot what they had, but they had some god-awful thing, and we were at a gathering or a Sillamar or convention or something, and he grabbed me and pulled me aside and said, I want you to do a treatment for me. I said, okay, I sat down and did a treatment for you. And now he says, Barbara Waterhouse saved my life. I heard that and I went, what the heck are you talking about? So we don't have to go find the health. We don't have to go find the money. We don't have to go find the success. We don't have to go find the love or the joy. It's always there. What we do is we come into alignment with that through the power of our thought. And in coming into that alignment, we open up a door for it to show up in our lives. It's not even the law of attraction where we're pulling it in. Sometimes that law of attraction can get pretty intense while we're trying to drag that soulmate in by cleaning out our closets and cleaning out the garage to make room for their clothes and their car and all of that. It's not that way. That is already here. That person is already here. That experience is already here. That state is already here. And what we do is come into alignment with that. The power of thought is the most important thing that I think we'll ever learn. I think it's even more the power of the word, because the word is spoken after the thought is thought. And so the power of thought is what opens up the doors for us to be able to live the life that we want to live. I know a lot of people who have a lot of money and they're miserable. And I know people who live in the projects and are in effect stone cold broke, and they are in their joy. John and I used to, actually John used to, I tagged along, John used to work in the projects all over the country. He had an organization called Opportunity Technologies that was a part of an offshoot of the Hunger Project, the old Werner Erhard thing. And he would go into all of these housing developments and build gardens, raised bed gardens the size of 2 of these tables, and organize the people into garden clubs, and they would plant the gardens, and they would grow food. It was literally the carrot dangled in front of them for them to come together and to start to learn some things about themselves and their neighbors. One was, you don't get to fence off your garden. You have to learn how to be with the people in your community. And the thing that a lot of these people would do, people who are raising their grandchildren and, you know, they're on welfare and food stamps and they're old, you know, because they're raising their grandchildren, they would go out there and they would grow this food, and even though they have a house full of hungry people, they would cut some greens and they would take them to a neighbor in their joy. And they would not just pack the garden with food, they would plant flowers. I mean, isn't that beautiful? So I know people who don't appear to have any money who are rich, and some people who have lots of money who are very poor. It's because of the power of thought. When we can look at ourselves and know that we always have more than enough, that life supports us in everything that we do, that only good can come from this, that everything is working out, when we can do that and really get a hold of our thought and speak those words and know that and believe it, then everything falls into place. Whether it's a physical experience, a financial experience, whether it's a business experience, whether you're buying a home, whether you're just trying to get home at the end of the day, treat it, focus on it, and watch it show up. Jane.
Well, yeah, that's in the last class, when I write something down, I unconsciously think about it a whole lot, and it pops to the surface. So I've written bring ideas on how I can have more love in my life.
Very nice.
Yep.
Well, that was your homework, to bring ideas on how you could have more love in your life. So what do
the
you
thing of it is, I do that, and I'm so unconscious, but my mind works on it, and I don't know it is, but it is. And then suddenly, you know, I find myself reacting differently from
Look at that
from
smile.
usual.
Look at that. You're just a love muffin turned loose in the world, aren't you? Yes.
It's quite a big chore while I'm doing it.
No, it isn't. The chore is to be miserable and angry and bitter. That's the chore. Being a love muffin is easy.
Oh, well, see, that's what I've been working on.
Good, 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 good. So as soon as we learn to control our mental state, what do we control? Everything. Our life. We create everything. And so many people say, well, and I'll use our emotional state here. So many people say, well, I have a right to this, to feeling this way. Well, sure you have a right to feeling this way. We talked about free will and self-choice and all of that, but the price that you pay is then you manifest that which you're focusing on. So someone may have, in the outer world, done you wrong, and you have a right to feel angry and victimized and upset and want to get them back. But if you go there, if you don't control your state and become a love muffin, then you're going to simply create more victimization, losing more fighting in your life, and it'll internalize in a physical state and make you sick. It'll take your money away right out of your portfolios and bank accounts. It'll have people turn away from you because really nobody wants to be around somebody who's in that state. And instead of having the doors open in life, they'll close. So even if you think you have a right to that, you may have a right to that, but really is that what you want to do? To learn how to control your emotional state, to pick and choose how you're going to feel. To learn how to control your mental state, to pick and choose what you want to think about is power. Great power. And when you do that, you're going to bring forth the molecules of creation and have them collapse into form and have people say, oh, you're so lucky. You're not lucky, you're trained. You're a choice. You're in your power. Or, that was a miracle. Well, miracles happen every day and we can have all of them that we want. If someone doesn't have any, that's because they're not focused on having what other people say is impossible. Because they're too busy thinking like the masses. So don't think like the masses.
No.
Don't do it. Amanda.
What I do, and maybe this is due to my marriage, but I will, if I get upset about something or if something is bothering me, I don't always admit it to myself, and I just go on being, happy, and I make myself feel better. But if it's something that I was really upset about with, even though I'm not admitting it, then I'll get sick and I'll be forced to figure out what it was that I was so upset about. And it takes a while sometimes to think about it, and I've had many conversations with you in my head because because you're the person that I talk to, and and we figure it out, and then I
So
deal
you
with it.
can react and then suppress and still experience the effect of that cause. Makes you sick, something that was great was going to happen doesn't happen, something like that. Or you can become mindful and be aware that you're having that reaction, but not buy into it and let it go.
Well, that would be much more pleasant than waiting till I'm
Well,
sick.
then you have to be conscious instead of unconscious. So one question to continue to ask yourself is, how am I feeling? If you know that you have a tendency to deny feelings, and that's the short-term gain and the long-term pain. So what am I feeling about this? How am I really feeling about this? What do I really think is going on? And start asking yourself that so that you can be more honest with yourself, because whatever it is, you can handle it.
It usually centers around when I'm not in control of a situation, when I feel like something has happened to me that
And yet you're always in control.
that I couldn't control.
You're always in control. You may not be in control of that event right now, but you are in control of what you do with it. You're in control of how you react to it, how you respond to it, and what you do with it. Some of my greatest gifts have seemed horrible at the time. I mean, I was thrown out of my first church. My last annual membership meeting, I had my attorney on one side and a hired parliamentarian on the other, and still I was thrown out. So, but that was great, because if I had stayed there, I would never be here. And if I had stayed there, I would never have married John. So even at the time I thought it was horrible, it has been one of my greatest blessings. So when we understand that no matter what it is, for some reason it's not happening to us, it's happening for us, that we can bless it and find a pony in here somewhere, have a blessing in here, only good can come from this, and whatever it is, we can handle it. What is the worst thing that can happen? We could be homeless, we could be jobless, we could die. Well, we're all gonna pass out of this physical form, and my guess is when we do, we're gonna go, yippee, boy, this is great. And how many of us have handled losing everything? So even though we lose, I know you came from Michigan, you let go of everything. And so whatever it is, our worst fears, we can handle this. And then when we acknowledge it, we have more conscious control over it because we're in control of our feelings and our thoughts and what direction we're gonna go in. And so all of those things that go boo in the night, they never happen. But if you shove it down because you think it's bigger than you, you're gonna create things that are bigger than you. But you're the one who created it, so you're bigger than them. You're just creating things that you're telling yourself then are bigger than you. It's a crazy cycle. So ask yourself, how do I really feel about this? I have a right to my feelings, I don't have to stay stuck there. Oh, but don't wait till eventually. What are your triggers? We'll just get into a little therapy.
It's when something's not going the way that I think it should go.
Okay, so then your mantra is what?
Well, when I'm trying to not be like at work,
Mhm.
the horses were kept in a couple of days last week. I wasn't there, and I was outside all day both of those days, so I felt there was no reason that they needed to be. And I was so upset about it that I was actually thinking of going to part-time there because I felt like I don't have any control. It's not my place, it's not my horses, I can't make the decisions. And I was like really upset about it.
So there are helpless horses being denied frolicking in the cold weather. You think there's a little projection going on? There's helpless Amanda
Probably,
being denied her joy. The truth is that the horses were fine.
And I came around to that. It's you know.
So
they're
your
okay.
mantra is going to be, only good can come from this. All things in perfect order. That's a lovely mantra. It doesn't hook you in. All things in perfect order. Everything is unfolding according to, a divine balance and harmony. I don't want to say divine plan because that puts a guy up on a cloud that's got a plan for us, and I don't believe that. But I do believe that there's harmony and balance. And I personally believe that every sentient being on this planet is creating their experience, including those horses.
I try to always keep that in mind. And
You can't just try, you've got to just start beating yourself down with it. This is a good thing. This is great. This is great. Oh, they got to rest. This is great. Say that. This is great.
This is great.
This is great.
It's all
This is
good.
great.
Everything is
All
working
good.
out for the best.
Uh-huh.
And one of the ladies that works there, I had mentioned that I was thinking about switching to part-time, and she just got in a tizzy, and she's like, oh, no, if we need to pay you extra money on the side so that you'll still stay here, we can do that.
So there's a bribe going on. So look at how easy it is to get hooked into this idea, not of oneness, not that spirit is manifest in and through all things, but that there are helpless victimized aspects of life. That's two-ness, that's separation. Look how easy it is to get hooked into separation. Everybody does it, and when you do, you have to take control of your mental state and take control of your emotional state. Even if you are telling yourself things that you don't believe, tell yourself that anyway. Tell yourself until you believe it. Because it's a crazy thought that says, my guess is these horses get fed, they're in a barn, they're tended to. These horses are doing very well, but we can take that and turn it into that there's an evil power out there who's going to try to get these poor horses. We can get hooked. But I tell you, you can only get hooked if you're hookable. And I think that what is hookable in you is your unresolved issues with your inner child. So you may want to treat yourself that all aspects of you are healthy, that you are clear about who you are, that you are powerful and strong and living the life of your dreams. And put that in there, put that in there, put that in there, put that in there. And then notice if you get hooked, lift yourself up. Doesn't matter if you fall down. Everybody falls down. Get up. Get up. And you get up by taking control of your mental state and your emotional state. You're the only one who can. Nobody makes you do anything. Nobody makes you feel anything. Nobody makes you think anything. You're the only one who does that. And you're the only one who can pull yourself out. So what we have is this idea of belief. Ernest quoted in the chapter, it's done unto you as you believe. And there's a statement of we're from Iowa or something like that. We'll believe it when we see it. Whatever state that is, there's a phrase.
Oh, yeah, Missouri.
Missouri.
Show me state.
The show me state, Missouri. We'll believe it when we see it. And the truth is we'll see it when we believe it. But who's going to make us believe it? Only us, especially if we haven't believed it in the past. Especially if we haven't believed that we deserve to have feelings. Especially if we don't believe that we deserve to have a life filled with love and joy and happiness and prosperity and health and wholeness. Especially if we don't believe that it's possible. I mean, how many things in this center have we demonstrated that are just flat out impossible? We have one person, the doctor left a message on her phone that said, if you do not come in and have this surgery, you'll be dead in 6 months.
Oh, nice.
That was well over 10 years ago.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that's impossible. Impossible. Well, we have the impossible. So what do we believe about life? If we believe that there's a guy up on a cloud that is out to get us, because God knows we've all done things that God is going to punish us for. If we believe in that, then we're going to continue to create the outer experience of having that outside power that's doing something against us. Or if we try really, really hard and we're really, really good, maybe we'll get a blessing along the way. When we question that and realize that in order for a oneness to exist, it must exist in its totality at every point simultaneously, which means all of spirit exists at the point of us. And when we start to look at that and realize, well, that means all of the creative ability of the entire universe and beyond is at the point of me, all of the love, all of the joy, all of the health and wholeness, I can have a great life. And you start working on your beliefs. That's why we were doing hidden beliefs a few weeks ago, so we could take that belief that no longer serves us and flip it around into a treatment and treat ourselves for that. That of course I'm safe, of course I'm loved, of course I deserve to have a great life. And then we come into alignment with that, and because we're not having to create it, we really don't create anything. It's already here. We simply come into alignment with it, and it flips into our lives. And some people say, oh, that's a miracle, or that's luck, or whatever. But we know it's because we took control of our thinking, and we focused on what we wanted, and we had it show up in our lives. We didn't even bring it into our lives. We opened up a doorway in consciousness for it to manifest in our lives. Does that make sense? Everything is from consciousness outward. So if we want to have certain things in our lives, we have to create them on the inside. And I love what Ernest says. He says that if you want something, then you want to take your consciousness about that and expand it out as great as you can. So if you want prosperity in your life, if you want a demonstration of prosperity, you have to have a consciousness of prosperity. And he says, take that idea of prosperity and think about things as big as you can. Think about the universe and the stars and the nebula and the whatevers are out there on a really big level. Think about the grains of sand on a beach. Think about things that stretch your consciousness about this. Why do you think we have people get up on Sundays and share physical healings and demonstrations in their life? So that people can go, wow, that happened for you? They said you had cancer 5 times, and by the time the biopsy got to the pathologist, there was no cancer. Wow, that stretches our ability to be able to embrace a consciousness that says health and wholeness is mine now. That I can have that. Well, she had it, I can have it. all these people had it. I keep getting bombarded with all of these healings and demonstrations, and if that's really what's going on, then I can have that. And so we stretch out. They say that the universe doesn't know the difference between a penny and $1 million, or a penny and $1 billion, that the only limitation is inside of us. So what can we do to stretch on that? Well, let me see, I could afford to have a $100 car that doesn't go in reverse. That was my first car. And so I demonstrated that. And then it was, well, I got that. I can stretch a little bit. I can go to the auto dealerships, and before, if they throw me out, I can sit in their new leather, brand new cars, and I can maybe ask them for some pictures of them, and put them up on the wall to bombard myself visually with them. I can expand my consciousness. I can get to know people who are in good relationships instead of just talking to people who are fighting. I can stretch my consciousness to allow more and more good to manifest in my life. But you're the only ones who can do that. People who sit around and watch soap operas all day, it's no wonder that the divorce rate is so high. But if we can be around people who have chosen to love, be around people who are supportive, being around people who are demonstrating good things in their life, then we expand our consciousness in that. And the more that we expand our consciousness, whether it's for prosperity or whether it's for health or whether it's for success, read books about people who are successful. Read books about them. Don't just read stories about people who won the lottery. Read books about people who went after what they wanted and that they found within them I'll go back to my Jewish Miami roots, the chutzpah, to be able to keep going with it and get their dream. I love it when the Olympics are around and all the stories of people who are actively taking charge of their life and creating what they want, getting what they want. We expose ourselves to that and we expand our consciousness. And when we expand our consciousness, our experiences, our demonstrations in our life are expanded, so they're bigger. So it's more money, more health, more joy, more love, more happiness, more success. That's all about expanding our consciousness. If we're a realtor and we hang out with people who say, oh, you know, the real estate market's taking a big slump right now. Well, it's the time of year. You know, houses don't sell in the winter, they sell in the summer, so you might as well just not even try. That's stupid. Don't be around those people. Don't talk to those people. Look at all of the listings that have closed. Look at all of the things that are happening in the world and expand your consciousness. But that's the only thing that you can do. But you are the only one that can do that. There's nobody that's going to chase you down and be the consciousness police, be the thought police, and smack you on the top of the head every time you have some stinking thinking and some negativity and some victimization. You're the only one who can do that. Right? You're the only one who can do that. And you've got to love yourself enough to make the effort on your behalf. And if you do, I guarantee you, you will create a life beyond your wildest dreams. We do it all the time. All the time. Yes, David Mark.
Back up just a little bit. When you began this section with, it's all consciousness from the inside out. That point, and I think the strong point that Holmes is making in part of this chapter is that when it said it's done unto you as you believe, is what I think he's really trying to point out, and what you just clarified is, it's really done onto you according to the states of your consciousness.
Yes.
And that belief, and when we're talking about belief, particularly with the science of mind, it's really consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And I think belief is something that is sort of, I don't think people relate very well and clearly to really what belief is.
Right, that's why we did the hidden belief exercise,
Right.
to start looking at, how do we believe? Amanda doesn't feel safe. I mean, that's a belief of yours, that someone can deny you your good because you are the horse. That's a belief. And we have these beliefs. One way to find out what you have in your belief system is to look in your life, because it's right there.
Well, I mean, he says that, you know, and as a matter of fact, he states somewhere here that your consciousness is everything that has ever happened to you, that you ever thought about, you ever said, that you've ever experienced, that you have ever felt. And that it doesn't go away, you just keep adding to it.
Right.
And it keeps,
And I wouldn't even limit it to this life. Ernest was not a believer in reincarnation. But I believe that I've come into this life with certain things, that I didn't start as a fresh slate in this life. So I believe that our consciousness is even things that we're carrying over through other experiences.
yes, but I mean, he also points out that there's the effects of race consciousness, familial consciousness, and other hereditary things in terms of ethnic things.
Right,
and
but
so
we have to
forth.
let that in. We have to let that race consciousness and that familial consciousness and that gender consciousness and all of that in. When Leo Biscaya, remember him, all of his early books about love? He has a brother that had a terrible childhood and a terrible family. And Leo had a wonderful childhood and a wonderful family. They were side by side in the same family. So yes, it could be race consciousness, it could be our family, it could be the environment in our school, but we had to take that in. And we had to either let it stay and bring it to life inside of us, or say, no, that's not who I am, I'm something different.
Yes, but that also gets back to what he's talking about here in terms of choice. In that a lot of what is let in was through not really making the choice.
Well, but I think we're always making the choice at some level.
I think that in the beginning, we don't really know what choice is.
I think even babies are powerful, creative, spiritual beings making choice.
Wow.
Because you have two children in the same family. You could have twins
Yes,
having different experiences, even as infants. At some level, maybe not a conscious level, there's a choice being made. I'm going to buy into this, I'm not going to buy into this.
and that is the choice. It's either yes
Yeah.
or no.
Yeah, but I think that maybe you call it a soul choice or whatever, it's still choice. If you give one little instance where we don't have choice, we never have choice,
There is only choice.
right? And even,
In fact,
even
choice probably precedes thought.
so much precedes thought. But I can't teach that because it doesn't make any sense. You know, if I tell you thought is what creates, your word is what creates, people go, okay, yeah, I have to monitor my thought and think about what I say, speak into form what I want. But there's so much before thought. But I can't teach that.
I think you just did.
Thank you, Dave.
Aren't we kind of born with, each of us are born with different natures, and some people's natures are, okay, I'm into astrology, so a moon in Sag is a lot different than a moon in like Capricorn, because they're,
But don't you think that you chose the exact second to incarnate on this planet?
I do believe that.
Mhm,
So,
so-
but I guess I'm just saying, sometimes it's easier for some people to think a certain way, or some people are more gullible than other people, or more this and that. I mean, I do believe we have the choice.
We chose to come in as gullible. We chose to come in as a certain way. I mean, I believe that we choose our parents. We choose the exact place on the planet to incarnate, the exact second to incarnate, and that universal balance and harmony is coming together for our intention of our life on planet Earth. And some people choose, you know, the whole idea that at some point in life we go, well, I picked that, you know, can't you just kick yourself sometimes? Some people choose to bite off more than they thought they could handle, or they have difficulty handling it. Other people choose to have incarnations that we have no idea what their journey is. but that they are always at choice. Maybe not consciously. Those of us in this room often choose unconsciously.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about with Amanda. It was an unconscious thought. So what we want to do is we want to become vigilant and conscious of all that we're thinking and all that we're setting forth in energy to create what our experiences are. We want to do that. And astrology fits in just fine. We do it by creating a mental equivalent. It says that spirit can only do to us what it can do through us. And that means that we have to have the big consciousness. We have to expand our consciousness. We create a mental equivalent for things that we want. If we want to be in a relationship that is loving and supportive, we stop thinking about the dirty socks on the stairs and we start thinking about loving and supportive experiences. You know, they know with children very, very rapidly that however you see that kid's going to be to you. And so if you look at a child as the problem child, the dumb child, the smart child, or the helpful child, that child will be that to you. Maybe it's totally different to somebody else, but that child will be that to you. So what are you focusing on in your life? What are you creating an urn for the unformed substance of the universe to pour into that and then pop out in your life as people, places, things, events, experiences? Everything in your life has been created by what thought forms you have, your mental atmosphere, your mental equivalence of what it is you believe is going to be possible for you. And so if you've got this thing that says, oh, I'm too old to do that, then okay, you're too old. Or I can't do that because I'm a man, or I can't do that because I'm a woman, or I can't do that because I live in Asheville. If you have all of those, any of those ideas, then that's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's going to be created in your life and look like it just happened out of the blue. But it never happens out of the blue. We are always cause to our effect. So think about what's in your life and how that reflects back to what's in your consciousness. Does anybody know Les Brown, the most famous public speaker in the country? Mm-hmm. He was a student of the Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman of the Universal Chicago, Illinois, and he was one of Johnny's students, and he had just started his public speaking, and he came to her and he said, Johnny, I did my first event, I only had 4 people. Why is that? And she looked at him and said, Les, it's because you have a 4-person consciousness. And that's true. Whatever it is we have in our lives, we have that consciousness. We have the consciousness to have a flourishing business. We have the consciousness to go out of business. We have the consciousness to have a wonderful relationship. We have the consciousness to have a terrible relationship. And these things don't just happen. We created that consciousness by thinking over and over and over again, that'll never happen to me, or only good can come from this. This is a blessing in disguise, and I'm gonna hold the space for that blessing till I get it. Like Jacob battling the angel, you know, not letting go till I get my blessing. And if we look at our so-called problems that way, we'll hang on until we get that blessing. But it's up to us to use the power of our thought, our mental state, and our emotional state to change the consciousness and the belief and create the things that we really want. Everybody's got stuff that you want, and we can create that. We create it by changing the way we see ourselves. Am I a person that has that? How do people that have that actually live? Who are they? Go find that. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing different from you than people who have whatever it is they want. So if you establish that in consciousness, if you work on your belief system to understand that yes, you can have that, then you'll flourish into it and it'll manifest. It's really cool. When I started this teaching, I had nothing. I had no place to live. I had no money. I had a 3-year-old child. I had nothing. And through diligent work on myself, I have created pretty much everything I've ever wanted. And I'm not done yet. I'm still creating. I'm still creating. So I absolutely know that you can have that. Your mental atmosphere is much like your consciousness. It's got all of your thoughts, all of your beliefs, all of your stories about life. You know, if you have this story that says, well, I don't have what I want because, that's a story. I don't have all what I want because of my childhood, because of my lack of education, because of my socioeconomic status. That's all a story. And frankly, it's a bunch of BS. It's a bunch of belief system. And you can change that anytime you want. So whatever it is your mental atmosphere is, have you ever felt people's energy?
Yes.
You go up to someone and you just love being around them. It's just wonderful to be around them. Or you go up to someone and you go, oh, I don't want anything to do with you. That's a mental atmosphere. You're gonna have more exposure to all of that as the holidays come around. So what you wanna do is you wanna clean up your mental atmosphere. You wanna have the energy that you carry with you to be supportive of how you wanna live your life, of what you wanna do, of how you wanna create experiences. And that means it's your thoughts, it's your beliefs, it's your feelings, it's the way you see your world. You know, I'm always harping on people during political stuff that you don't get to sacrifice principle because of politics. Either God is all that there is or God is not. And if it isn't, we wouldn't be here. Just because time and space wouldn't hang together, not because there's a guy on a cloud that has put us here. So when we look at someone, when we see someone in traffic or somebody hits someone and we go, oh, wow, that's terrible. No, watch out. You just planted a bunch of weeds in your spiritual garden. Nothing is terrible, nothing is wrong, nothing is broken. Everything is in balance and harmony and perfect, whole, and complete. There's always health and wholeness and love and joy, prosperity and abundance right here and right now, and it is your job to train yourself to focus on that all the time, no matter what, even when you want to complain. You know, even when you want to feel all spiritually superior. I remember when I was in my early 20s, I was hanging out in the ashram all the time, and I would go to the store, and I was only vegetarian back then, and I would get behind someone with a big push cart of processed food and Jimmy Dean sausage and, you know, all this stuff, Coca-Cola, and I would just stand there and feel so freaking superior. It doesn't help. It doesn't help. Everybody is on their perfect and right path, and the only business I have is mine. And so I let them go and focus on me by singing the presence of the divine in them. Does that make sense? Did you have a question, Breezy?
Well, it just, what you were saying about the garden and the stuff growing reminded me that they have found that something that we think of as a weed is actually the most nutritious green vegetable you can eat.
Kudzu?
No, it's this one, we were talking about that earlier. This one has little bitty leaves, but it grows all over the place.
Okay.
I can't remember the name of it.
Dandelions? Something.
No.
Something.
Dandelions, good.
Something. So the 10th question, I want to just take a little bit of time and challenge Ernest's answer. It says, what do we need to understand before we proceed further on the subject of healing? And his answer is to be certain that thought is creative. But if I was in practitioner class teaching you, I wouldn't say that. I would say the thing that we need to be certain of before we can proceed on the path of healing is that the healing has already occurred. Why do you say, and so it is at the end of your treatment work?
To reveal it.
Because it is.
Because it is, not to reveal it. It's not gone to need to be revealed.
Well, no, to reveal it so you can see it because you weren't seeing it before.
But that's only you're seeing it, it's
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is we want to know that everything already exists. The universe is already perfect. Spirit is already made manifest, and all of its magnificence and glory and joy and love and prosperity, all of that is already here, and our job is simply to work on our head in getting that it's already here. Because you don't have to heal anything. Ernest said there's nothing to heal, only truth to be revealed. Our job is only to reveal the truth. And the truth is that all is one, everything is an individualization of the divine, that perfect, whole, and complete is right here and right now. Prosperity is a given, abundance of every kind. We are created out of love. Joy is all that there is. The universe is successful, so we are successful. Everything that we focus on succeeds. And when we start to see that, first of all, the pressure is off, so we don't have to manifest that in every minute detail. I don't have to rebuild somebody's kidney. I know that that perfect and healthy kidney is right here and right now, and that knowing it is enough. And then the health and wholeness that is already there reveals itself, and that which was unlike the health and wholeness that we had manifested by our focus on limitation and disease and free will and self-choice and all of that just vanishes into the nothingness from whence it came, like a shadow in the light, because it wasn't even real to begin with. We put it there. We put a cloak over our light and said we're dim. We're not dim, we're ablaze. So don't feel like you have to do something in your treatment work. You are simply knowing. And when you know it, it shows up. It's fantastic. We've had so many things happen. Yes, Karen.
I still find it hard sometimes to truly believe that it will happen, or like what Amanda was saying, when she knows that she's going to be healed. I mean, I might be hoping that I am, but how do you, is it kind of doing?
You've already set yourself up for failure. It won't will happen. It's already happened. You're already healed. I'm already healed. Say that.
I'm already healed.
I'm already healed. So you're not believing that something's going to happen to change the illness into health. You're already healed.
Well, I am actually healed, but.
Well, okay, so what in the world are you finding it hard to believe? You're setting yourself up for the rest of the room to have a problem.
No, but what I mean is, it's with other things too, like so many practitioners. I mean, I have a friend in California who's one.
Oh, I don't know about those California practitioners. I only know about mine that I taught.
But I mean, she really does, but people here think that whatever you really want to happen will. Well, okay, where does the idea of
No, not what you
fit in or
want to
that?
happen.
Or-
You don't change something by wanting it. For that matter, wanting it pushes it away. You become that. If you want to experience more in your life, you must become more. Hence my license tag for 30 years that says be more. Be more if you want to have more. It's always from the inside out. If I want something, I'm never going to get it. I have to already have it. I have to know that it's mine, that it's manifest right here and right now. Whether I can see it or not is irrelevant. That's just the time-space continuum. It exists. It's here. There is no way to have a thought and not have the manifestation of that thought. If that were the case, there would be an empty hole in the infiniteness of spirit. Time and space would collapse and we would not be here. So you don't want it. You have it. I accept my good right now. I'm so grateful for this good right now. I'm so happy that I have this right now. Not I want it, I hope it happens. No, I have it. Isn't this great? I have it. The Practitioner 2 class right now is anybody in Prac 2? Is in a who?
Isn't it Breezy?
No. They're in a process right now where John is having them treat for something they already have. But they have it, so that they'll get that feeling that I've got it. I can hold it in my hand because I'm holding it in my hand. I'm getting that feeling that I can hold it in my hand. Sandy and then David.
Before coming here, I was doing a lot of work with Abraham, Law of Attraction, and she teaches about the rocket of desire. I desire, I want. So that's different from
It is. That's her first step.
Okay.
Her second step is to create a better feeling thought. Yeah. To do rampages of appreciation.
Right.
To generate the energy that everything is great. You can play with rockets of desire or not if you want. I choose not to. I choose to focus on what is already so, whether I can hold it in my hand or not. I know that it's true. I know our mortgages are paid off. I know that we are reaching millions of people around the world. I already know that. I know that it's true. Nothing can deter me by saying, oh, well, you were only reaching 16,000 people last month. No, we are touching the hearts and lives of millions of people. And I know that inside of me. It's not wishing or hoping or thinking or praying, it's knowing that. David.
In a way, I think Ernest is really saying much more than that. Because for one thing, I think just the word and what the general idea of healing is that something needs to be fixed, is what healing is suggesting. And is what Ernest is saying here is he says, I think he's saying, is no matter how good things are, how wonderful they are, you can always conceive of something better. And if you can conceive of something better, then that can take place. And that really is not, in the true sense, what healing is. In other words, you're not fixing something.
Right.
You're taking something that's really great and wonderful, and you turn it into something that's even better, greater, and beyond.
Right.
Which is, I think, actually beyond healing.
Right. Healing is a misnomer because everyone is already healthy, whole, and complete.
Yeah.
So the idea that we are going to be healed presupposes that there is something that is not healed, broken, wrong, bad, something like that. And as soon as you get into that, you move from the universe of oneness into the universe of two-ness, and you have separation, and then you have to go beyond that separation in your own head while you're doing your treatment. Don't go there. Everything is already done. That's why he says there's nothing to heal, only truth to be revealed. And that if we had to heal someone, we would never be able to do that. That it's just a revealing of the health and wholeness that is already there. And then to understand that we are connected and that our thoughts are operating upon some kind of universal mind, universal law. Something happens to our thoughts when we think them, and we can have an impact on someone else by how we see them and what we think about them. So all we have to do is look at everyone as perfect, whole, and complete, and the healings just abound because you were never not healed to begin with. You were never sick. It is amazing. And you're right, he says never stop having more joy, more love, more prosperity, more happiness, more success. Always go for it because the universe is always expanding. If the universe wasn't expanding, there'd be an end to it, and then you would not have an infinity. In order for there to be an infinite, it has to continue to move out. Isn't that crazy? But it's true. So we are created out of that outward motion of its expanding consciousness, and for us to be in alignment with our true nature, we continue to expand. This is it. Elin.
I think if I could offer a little bit of help, that there are
We need
people
help.
that are getting tripped up in the how. And the how is not for us. It's not in the realm of knowing. It's in the realm of being. And how you get to that point, that's kind of oxymoron. How your consciousness gets there, that's just like mental gymnastics. But if you were gonna ask me how I wouldn't even say it was me, how I reassembled my body, it's a knowing. It was a state of consciousness that my mind was already in.
That you were already perfect, whole, and complete.
Yes.
Yes. See, if you were never broken, then it was just a matter of time and space catching up to consciousness as your body came back into alignment with itself. So there was not anything broken, there was not any disease, there was not anything wrong. On a consciousness level, you were always perfect. And that's how you go back to that state. So it's not anything that's broken, it's not anything that's wrong, it's not anything that's sick. That we can play, with light and dark shadows all we want, but that doesn't make it real. The only thing that's real is the light. The only thing that's real is the health. the wholeness, the balance, the harmony. And so when we go back into that in consciousness, the physical form comes right into alignment, which is why Lynn was walking way before they ever said she'd be out of a wheelchair. How does that happen? Because it was already there. She was already sitting here, right here, even when she was in a coma. Do you understand that? Don't buy into the world of effect. The world of effect is coming from you, the cause. You are cause to your experience, end of story. If you don't like your experience, change the cause. Let's take a break.
Would anybody like anything from the books?
And spiritual mind treatment. How is it? Excellent. I know some of you are still kind of questioning your ability, but really it's innate, and it doesn't matter so much what the words are as what the feeling is. And everybody can do this. Anybody can do this. So how are you feeling?
I'm excited to see how Jane does in traffic this week.
Treating Jane in traffic.
Yeah, that's just what I was thinking. I was thinking, what am I gonna do in traffic? Because, yeah, we were working on
Good. You can treat anything.
it. Yeah.
Anything, anything, anything.
I
How are
can't
you-
to get into traffic, so I'll see what I can, if I'll be better. Because I get very angry at other drivers, and I live on
Well,
American.
sometimes I think that's your hobby.
She did speak out loud that she finds it, she likes the challenge of leaving late so that she can see if she can still get there
Yeah, that's true.
in time.
Everybody's got their thing, you know, everybody's got their game.
Yeah, but that's not a game, I mean,
She's playing a new game now.
Good.
I'm changing my game.
Yay, changing your game. How about you, Sandy? How you feeling with this?
Good, I'm still using the cheat sheet.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Anybody else? You know, you're using words to get to where words don't exist. So don't get too hung up on the words. Don't get too hung up on whether or not you have the spiritual power to do this, because you're not making it happen. You're simply noticing that which already exists. Health, happiness, wholeness, joy, it's already here. And all we do is notice it. And simply by bringing ourselves into alignment with it and noticing it, it shows up in form. And one of the coolest things is that we can do that for each other. It's that whole oneness idea that has us all connected, that we are actually different aspects of each other. So what I know inside of me about you, Karen, shows up in Karen's life, it shows up in my life. Remember, whatever it is you're treating for your partner, you get. That's why sometimes you go to the practitioners and say, oh, I want you to treat for prosperity. And they go, oh boy. Because they get that. Any other, yes, Karen?
Well, working with David, I realized that you can, if the person who's treating me is painting a picture almost of what it would be like, which I felt like he did that. I mean, my eyes were closed, I could just see exactly what was happening. It made me feel a lot better about trying to sell my parents' house.
Good.
You know,
Some
and
people are visual,
Yeah.
so go for the pictures. Some people are auditory, some people are kinesthetic. Use whatever means you have to connect. There's no right way and wrong way. The right way is the demonstration. And however you get there is fine with me. Good, 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 good. So use pictures.
Well, I mean, it wasn't a picture, it was just the words he was using. It was very soothing to me to hear what he said, and they weren't things that I would have thought on my own. And I think that's where the creativity comes in. If you start really thinking about that, you start getting more creative. in
And
what you're
sometimes
saying.
you open up and that other person just pulls ideas right through you.
Mhm.
And they come through. If you're not so worried about saying the right thing doing it all, you know, the way it's supposed to be, and you can just relax into it. David's got 1,000,000 years in this teaching, and so you relax into it and open up, and people can just draw that which they need right out of you. It's a wonderful experience. So how are you, Debbie? How long have you been out of class?
5 years.
5 years. So how is it being back?
Amazing.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
I love it here.
When you first left to go to Thailand, was that a demonstration of treatment?
Taiwan?
Taiwan.
No.
Okay. Okay. That's
No.
good. That's good. That's honest.
Yeah.
When Barbara Updike went to Japan, that was a demonstration of treatment.
Actually, no, I can't say that because I knew without having a job or a place to live or anything, I just knew that I would show up and that would all happen.
And it did.
And it did.
I remember that.
Yes.
Doing Facebook posts.
Yes, yes. So yeah, so that of course was, because it was a knowing, I had no doubt. There was no doubt,
Good.
yeah.
Good, good, good.
Mm.
Anybody else? You're doing great, great work. You know, practitioners can't hold a candle to you because you're all the same. You're all the same. Just because somebody has a license doesn't mean that they're any better at this than you. No offense.
Facts taken.
You're just as good as anybody else in manifesting. Pay attention. Open up, trust, focus, and watch it happen. Next week we talk about prayer and faith. I love talking about faith because every time we do a spiritual mind treatment and we have a demonstration, we build faith. And as we continue to get that we're creating our parking spot, our money, our body feeling better, whatever it is that we're creating that, we build a little bit more faith. So be aware this week on your manifestations, write them in a little book if you want to, and come back to class prepared to share. We've done some good work in this class. Don't just ignore it, don't lose it, because you're not focused on it. Okay? Good. Take out what you're gonna give. And what I know is that this infinite presence of prosperity, of abundance, of ever-expanding consciousness is all that there is. That every molecule of creation is manifested out of prosperity and abundance and expanding consciousness. I know that I, Barbara Waterhouse, am an individualized point of this amazing prosperity of all of life, out of the abundance of all that spirit is. I know that my consciousness is continuing to expand and expand and expand into greater levels of realization of good in my life. And as that point of prosperity and creativity and abundance, I speak my word for and about everyone in this class and within the sound of my voice. I claim for each and every one of us more than enough of everything. More than enough money, more than enough time, more than enough ideas, more than enough opportunity, more than enough support, more than enough of every good thing. I know we are blessed with an abundance of money to do whatever it is we choose to do. I know that our life prospers in each and every way. And I know that we continue to expand our ability to accept good in our lives in greater and greater and greater levels. And I know that this experience blesses each and every one of us. It blesses this Center for Spiritual Living Asheville. It blesses everyone that this center touches and everyone that this teaching touches. I know that we are all in this together, that we are blessed, that life is good and all is well. And so with great, great gratitude for those blessings, I release this treatment into the mind of God, the heart of God, the body of God, because I know that it's all God, abundant, prosperous, expanding in every way, as together we say, and so it is. went out where?
Rick went out there to get us on.
He's on the country.
Are we done over here? I can wait. And I know that everything in these baskets is blessed, whether it's in here yet or not. Because time is always in the now, and place is always here. And so I know that each of us opens up to that blessing of spirit as us, right here and right now. I know that every time we give anything, we give that blessing of life as us. And I see it in my mind's eye as golden light, pouring forth from each and every one of us, filling up this room from the floor to the ceiling and all between the walls. This air is rich and blessed with God as us. I know that that energy, as it moves in our lives, it touches us, it blesses us, it heals us. And we can't lock it up in this room, no matter how great the room and how great the people. And so it goes on around this entire world to touch, to bless, and to heal every being on this planet. Always here and always now, blessing every one of us here tonight, everyone who has ever been here, and everyone yet to come. And so it is. Have a wonderful week. I love you guys.